Welcome back, James MTG Biggie here, and today we're going to talk about Hour of Devastation Standard, and specifically Grixis Control. Those who have been with the channel for a little while now have probably seen the standard Grixis Control deck tech I made for Amonkhet, and now we're back with some new toys, some new win conditions, and some new very good, very flexible spells that I feel like really tune this deck to something that can be a real thing and a real player in Standard going forward. Now, we obviously don't have the full spoiler yet, so there may be some new cards that come out that we're going to want to try to play with, but I feel like they've spoiled enough good Grixis stuff now where we could start thinking about a final list for at least week one and then see where it goes from there going forward. Now, I'll glance over really quick the mana base as well as some of the older cards in the deck. We are running 26 total lands, including 6 basics. So we have 2 mountain, 2 swamp, and 2 islands, which for some reason it split them up here on me. And then we have 4 Aether Hubs, 4 Spirebluff Canal, 4 Wandering Fumarole, because the control deck manlands are great. And then 1 each of Choked Estuary and Foreboding Ruins. And then we're running a total of 6 cycling lands. So we have 3 Fetid Pools and 3 Canyon Sloughs. I will get to why we have them in the deck, why we're playing so many cycling lands later on. Outside of the fact that when you're playing such a high land count with 26 lands, the ability to cycle away a top-decked land that comes into play tapped and draw a new card, very, very good late game. So, in addition to that, there is the old win condition of Torrential Gearhulk that's been around since Kaladesh, and is still a very, very good, very powerful card, and kind of insanely valuable in a deck like this. We've trimmed it from 4 to 3, and that's because we have some new win conditions that join alongside it. Outside of that, we're on a removal spell package of 4 Harness Lightning, 2 Unlicensed Disintegration, which we're not always going to get the bonus of 3 damage, but we will sometimes because of Torrential Gearhulk being an artifact. And then we're running 2 Fatal Pushes, as well as 3 Sweltering Suns. A sweeper for 3 mana that can kill anything with 3 or less toughness, pretty good, and the fact that it cycles, also very important in this deck. Because of a new card in Hour of Devastation, cycling is really, really, really powerful in our deck, and I'll get to that later. Outside of that, the other older spells that we're playing, we're on 4 Glimmer of Genius, just an insanely powerful card advantage engine. Also provides energy for our Aether Hubs and our Harness Lightnings. Then we're on 2 Disallows as a 3-mana counter spell or ability. Still very good, but we wanted to split the difference with a new counter spell that's in the format, which I'll get to in a few minutes also. And then we're on 4 Censors, which has proven to be insanely powerful. The fact that you can force spike something by turn 2 and create that sort of tempo, it often just gets people. And then if you're not in position to get people because it's late game, you cycle it away. And again, cycling is good. Outside of that, we have some new toys, right? Everybody knew that Nicol Bolas was going to see play in a Grixis deck. And here we have Nicol Bolas, God-Pharaoh. Big surprise, right? It's 4 generic mana, and then Grixis colors blue, black, red for a 7 loyalty planeswalker with 4 abilities. Any planeswalker has 4 abilities has got to be good. It's kind of nonsense to not have it, be good, right? 4 abilities, at least 2 to 3 of them have to be great. So we have +2. Target opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they reveal a non-land card. Until the end of turn, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Very, very powerful effect. Stealing something off the top of your opponent's deck for free, pretty good. And then +1, each opponent exiles 2 cards from his or her hand. Very powerful card advantage late game, especially with us drawing cards and hopefully them not having a ton of resources left in hand. If we could finish off their hand, then we can kind of close out the game pretty quick. And then -4, Nicol, Bolas, God-Pharaoh deals 7 damage to target opponent or a creature an opponent controls. This can be the finisher. I mean, you could kind of whittle your opponent's life total down with Wandering Fumaroles and Gearhulks and stuff like that earlier in the game. So this can come into play, and we can just immediately go down with it and deal 7 to an opponent. It's pretty good. Or this in the same turn with combination of this plus attacking with whatever you steal off the top of your opponent's deck, or a Wandering Fumarole in one shot. You can get a lot of damage dealt. And then the -12 each, or exile each non-land permanent your opponent controls. So really powerful. We're playing one of them because it is a 7-drop, and we are drawing a lot of cards, so we're going to try to get to it pretty quickly and try to get it in play as soon as we take control of the game. Outside of that, another win condition we have is the Locust God. This card is bananas, and this is why we put such a high value on all of our cycling cards in our deck. It is a 6 mana, a blue, a red, and 4 generic for 4/4 flying legendary god. Whenever you draw a card, you create a 1/1 blue and red insect token with flying and haste. So all of those cards that we could use early for value, or we could cycle as we top deck them later in the game, is going to now make you a token when this guy is in play, which is completely insane. It also has built in its own draw engine, so it fuels its own ability, which is also very good, and it also helps you churn through your deck to find more answers. And then all of the gods from Hour of Devastation have this last ability. Whenever they die, you return them to their owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So it's very hard to get rid of and a very resilient threat. And that's why we're playing 2 of those, and we're down to 3 Torrential Gearhulks. It is legendary, so you don't want to overload on it, but it's a more resilient threat than Torrential Gearhulk, so I feel like it's deserving of the spot, of standing beside the Gearhulk. It's not going to replace it, but in tandem with Torrential Gearhulk, very, very good way to close the game out. This plus Glimmer of Genius is amazing, and this plus Pull from Tomorrow is absolutely insane. I had a game where I plus Nicol Bolas, I stole a Metallic Mimic from my opponent's deck, and then I named Insect, and then on their next end step, I pull from Tomorrow for like 8. So I made like 8 2/2 insects and just 1 on the spot. That's a rare line of play, but that's the sort of shenanigans that come up when you play Nicol Bolas alongside one of his gods, alongside draw and cycling cards. So I feel like this combination of cards is going to be something. We have a couple other new spells. We have some very good modal spells in this set. The first of which is Abrade. 2 mana, red and 1. Choose 1. Abrade deals 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. So basically the whole Mardu Vehicles deck, your Scrap Heap Scroungers, your Heart of Kirans, your Toolcraft Exemplars, if they're still playing Thraben Inspectors, this kills it. Kills all of their turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 threats. Basically kills that whole deck except for Gideon. It's very flexible. And then some corner case stuff comes up where, like, in a mirror match, this could take down a Torrential Gearhulk for 2 mana instant speed, which is insane. Just because Gearhulks are artifacts. People forget that. And being able to just do that at instant speed, pretty good. It also gets flashed back with our own Gearhulks. So very flexible, very good, just well-balanced magic card, and that's sort of stuff we're trying to do. Another one that we're playing 2 of, that we're splitting our numbers with Disallow, is Supreme Will. It's 2 mana and a blue, so 2 colorless and a blue, and choose 1. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3, so you have a mana leak, and then look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand, and the rest on the bottom, so you have Impulse. Now, either of those 2 cards for 3 mana would be pretty bad, but both of them that you get to choose from for 3 mana at instant speed is really good. You can flash it back with a Gearhulk to mana leak something, or if you don't have anything to mana leak, or your opponent's not playing spells, or whatever the case may be, you can flash it back in Impulse. And if you're digging for lands early in the game, Impulse mode is very, very good. It's helped a lot with controlling your draws and sort of filtering through your deck as much as possible. So it's just been a good, flexible spell. I think 2 of is right where you want to be, especially when we're flashing back with Gearhulks and stuff like that. So very flexible, very good spell. Outside of that, we have a couple sideboard options from the new set. Liliana's Defeat, which is 1 black mana, destroy target black creature or black planeswalker. If it's Liliana, their controller loses 3 life. So the reason this is here is I feel like with Marvel gone, green-black decks are going to make a comeback, and notoriously green-black decks play Liliana. So that's just really good value for 1 mana, and you can take out a Grim Flayer or most of their other early threats tend to be black creatures for the most part. You could take out a Constrictor or whatever for 1 black mana. It's not as good as Fatal Push in that mode, but because we have a hard time dealing with Liliana because it's a 3-mana planeswalker, and we don't have any direct burn spells to take it down, and our creatures are 5 and 6 drops, this is a really good catch-all and a good hate card for our deck. Outside of that, the other new addition is Doomfall, which is another modal flexible card. It's 3 mana, black and 2, choose 1. Target opponent exiles a creature they control, so an edict effect that actually exiles, which is okay, but the other mode, target opponent reveals his or her hand, and you choose a non-land card from it and exile that card, so you get a 3-mana Thoughtseize effect or a 3-mana edict effect at sorcery speed. Very flexible, and it's a 1-of next to 2 Transgress the Minds. So its flexibility just allowed it to be slotted next to another good discard spell. I feel will be very good. Outside of that, some of the usual spells, Dispels, 3 Negates, another Abrade, so we have the ability to go up to 3 against Mardu vehicles, because that's where it's going to shine. And then Never to Return. This is a concession to the fact that everybody's going to be trying to break Nicol Bolas, so having a 3-mana answer to a Planeswalker, pretty good. And then Ob Nixilis Reignited for the mid-range and control matchups. And then the Mirror Breaker is Sphinx of the Final Word. Just a very powerful finisher and a way to resolve your spells if you're playing against another Grixis or a Jeskai deck with a lot of counter magic. Just a good way to resolve your spells and win the game. So that is where we're at. I feel like the consistency of this list right now is sort of where I want to be. I know we have more spoilers coming up, so some stuff may shift and adjust, but I think this is the start of something real in the format. I have an idea for just a blue-red shell that's going to be more of a value sort of control deck with a little bit more reliance on burn and stuff like that, but I don't know. Right now I feel like Grixis is where you want to be just because you get to play the most powerful spells, and a control deck is a hard thing to pull off in Standard a lot of the time, but I think they're really trying to push it so there is one. So hopefully this pans out. Let me know what you guys think, and if you haven't seen it, I will put a link down here below me to the old version of the Grixis control deck so you can see where it came from and how it evolved to this point, as well as another video of mine. And I will put a link so you can subscribe somewhere up here in this corner, I believe. Just click the cartoon version of my face, and you'll be signed up to subscribe. And I'll leave the list in the description below, so you're welcome to copy and paste it and check it out. I test on untap.in, so that's a place that you could try it out early and try to play test it and make the adjustments. And when you do make your adjustments, let me know. Comment down below. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, comment down below, and let me know what you think about it and what you're planning on playing in Standard 2 coming up. because the more you let me know, the more I'll know how to adjust this deck, and it's better information for everybody. So I look forward to hearing about what all of you think. Like I said, subscribe, just click my cartoon face up here, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. I will be back probably in a couple days with another video, so talk to you guys soon, and I will see you later.